So this is the 1976 cold start video for the Triumph Stag. Let's start her up. I'm going to give it a couple of gentle revs. So we're in Tony's 1976 Triumph Stag hardtop, and we're just taking the car for a little spin around the countryside. It's an interesting car. Tony's, you've owned it for 15 years, haven't you?
Indeed.
And basically it belonged to his father prior to that. And as we negotiate this Mini, so it was owned in the family for at least 45 years, and prior to that it was actually owned by a neighbour, so it's been on the same turf for quite a long time. We're just driving at crawling speeds at the moment. It started up this morning without any problems at all. I've been left in the garage, quite a cold day as well, so no issues there at all. In terms of the let's talk about the gearbox. Just switching the how does the kick down and the sort of is it a slick change when you
well, when she warms up.
Yeah. So again, that's a fairly typical thing of a car of this era. These are quite bumpy roads, and as you can see, the steering wheel's staying nice and firm, nice and level. How does it feel to you?
Yes. Yeah, it's an old car, isn't it? So yeah, it drives fine. It brakes well, so it steers nicely.
Does this model have power steering?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay, so there's I can't hear any noises, no groaning or straining from that, which is great.
No.
We're just going around the corners now. Suspension's very compliant. There's no creaking or knocking coming from the steering wheel or the suspension. No issues with the differential as far as you can hear. And you said the brakes are pretty good as well.
Yep, indeed.
In terms of, you said you spent a little bit of money on it recently to kind of, is that a new fuel pump in the boot?
It is indeed, yes. Yeah.
And we've got a new battery on the car as well, and there's a couple of bits and pieces, because the car's hardly been used in the last 15 years. Covered, you say 500 miles or so?
I've done a maximum of 500 miles.
Yes.
I just checked the MOTs recently, so
exactly,
just to see what I've done.
So so it's not really been driven, but it has been stored in a garage all this time. And so again, we have something of an originality, because a lot of the car is original. It hasn't really been touched up in places. It's had very little in terms of paintwork. So we're just opening her up now, just driving at sort of 30-40 miles an hour, just keeping an eye on those gauges. And you said there's an extra battery cut-off switch installed as well.
Yeah, there's a battery there's a fuel pump cut-off switch in there. Yeah, the battery cut-off switch is obviously where the battery is.
V8's burbling nicely, idles really nicely, don't tick over, there's no issues at all. Kicks down smoothly.
It sounds terrific, doesn't it?
It does sound absolutely super. When your dad had it, did he take it out to shows or anything like that, or was it a car that he just used as his daily driver?
Well, he had 2 or 3 cars. He had a 1933 Riley that he used to show, and this was his sort of, get the Tesco's every now and again, but it certainly didn't get much use by him either.
No. Happily cruising at about sort of 30 miles an hour. end there, no issues at all.
She's starting to warm up now.
Yeah, it's starting to get a bit more responsive now, isn't it?
Yeah. I certainly don't like to gun her around, that's for sure.
No, but it's, you know, it's not a car that likes to be hurried along until it's ready.